All right, today we're diving into Richard Carlson's book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff with Your Family. It's really a guide for navigating that beautiful and, yeah, often stressful chaos of family life. Carlson kicks things off with a powerful truth that I think just perfectly captures this central tension, right? We love our families, but man, the day-to-day friction, it can really wear us down. This explainer is all about how we can start to shift our perspective on that friction. So, where do we even begin? Well, the very first step is just acknowledging the chaos. I mean, between daily chores, all the different personalities, and just everything life throws at us, it is completely normal to feel overwhelmed by the small stuff. And this gets right to the core philosophy of the book. See, Carlson isn't suggesting we can somehow achieve a perfect, frustration-free family life. Let's be real, that's just not realistic. Instead, the real goal is to develop a healthier mindset, to embrace the imperfections, and to focus our energy on what actually builds connection. This brings us right to the heart of the whole idea. So much of our emotional energy just gets drained by things that, in the grand scheme of things, are just small stuff. So let's look at how to actually identify it. Carlson gives us a simple but really powerful question to ask in those moments of frustration. Before you react to the spilled milk or the forgotten chore, just pause and ask yourself, is this really worth the emotional cost? The next question, this one's a fantastic reality check. Most of the little things that get under our skin today will be completely forgotten in a few days. So why are we going to let them ruin this moment? And this final question, well, it really raises the stakes. So often we get caught up in winning some small argument that we actually risk creating a tiny crack in our relationship. Asking this helps us remember that the connection is almost always more important than being right about something minor. Okay, now that we know how to spot the small stuff, let's get into the practical toolkit. Carlson lays out 6 key lessons for creating a more harmonious and stress-free home. Think of these as your new go-to strategies. The first lesson is a big one. So many of our frustrations come from having unrealistic expectations. We want our kids to behave perfectly, our partners to read our minds, and our homes to be spotless. But that's just not real life. Expecting perfection basically sets everyone up for failure. When we accept that kids are learning, that open communication is way better than just assuming, and that life is messy, that's when we foster an environment of acceptance and resilience instead of constant disappointment. Building right on that idea of embracing imperfection, lesson 2 is all about learning to let things go. Not every issue needs to become a major conflict. The key is knowing which disagreements are actually worth your energy. I just love this practical advice. Before you jump into a disagreement, ask yourself these questions. So often, the answer reveals that just letting it go is the path to greater peace for everyone. It's really about choosing connection over control. Lesson 3 might sound simple, but in our crazy, distracted world, it is a real challenge, being present. Carlson points out that just being in the same room isn't the same thing as being emotionally present. True connection requires our full attention. And these aren't huge, time-consuming commitments. They're actually small shifts in our habits that send a powerful message to our loved ones. You are my priority right now. And that is what strengthens emotional bonds. Our fourth lesson is all about the power of ritual. Family traditions, even the small ones. Create a sense of security, identity, and shared joy. They're kind of like the anchors that hold a family together through all the ups and downs. And they really don't have to be elaborate. Just look at these examples. It can be as simple as making pancakes together on Sundays, or sharing one good thing about your day at dinner. These small, repeated acts of connection are what build a huge reservoir of warmth and closeness. Lesson 5 is so crucial for those tense moments. When emotions are high, our default reaction can often be impatience or anger. Carlson challenges us to consciously choose a different path, to respond with kindness. The most important point here is that shift from an automatic reaction to a thoughtful response. That small pause, just taking a single deep breath, can be enough to change everything. It gives you the space to choose understanding over criticism, and that single choice can de-escalate a conflict instantly. And finally, we have the 6th lesson. Families are not perfect. People make mistakes and feelings get hurt. Holding on to that resentment and keeping score only creates emotional distance. A peaceful home really requires the active practice of forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't passive. It's a choice. It means talking things out instead of just letting them simmer. It means offering a real, sincere apology when you're in the wrong. And it means making the conscious decision to prioritize love and compassion over past grievances. So, as we wrap this up, it's pretty clear that these lessons aren't just a checklist of things to do. They're about a fundamental mindset shift. It's not about avoiding problems, but about handling them with more patience, grace, and love. So, let's quickly recap these core lessons. Let go of minor frustrations. Choose your battles wisely. Be present. Create small family traditions. Respond with kindness, and forgive quickly. Notice how none of these require some grand gesture. They are all small, intentional choices that, when you practice them consistently, can transform family life from chaotic to joyful. And this brings us to the final and probably the most important question. It isn't just about learning this stuff, it's about doing it. So what one small change can you make today to create a more peaceful home? That single choice might just make all the difference.